So they say it's a man's world? Well, I don't see anybody's name on it. While they were out doing their thing, we slowly changed all that. We changed all that. Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
The odds of this daughter of a clergyman spending 11 weeks at number 1 on the U.S. singles charts? 1 in 19 million. The odds of going on to win 7 Grammy Awards? 1 in 1.4 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I'm Toni Braxton, and I encourage you to learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
Welcome to another edition of Beyond the Law with Harold Michael Harvey. Today, our guest is Dr. Craig Carter, a chiropractor. Dr. Carter and I will discuss alternative treatment for health issues confronting our society today. I hope you'll join us.
Come on, it's not that hard.
My big man fingers are having a problem with these little tiny buttons.
Whoa, watch it there. Your blood pressure's gonna go through the roof.
Tell me about it.
High blood pressure can increase the risk for heart attack or stroke. Learn how to keep yours at a healthy range.
Ever hear a voice command? Just say text barbershop to 97779.
Welcome to this edition of Beyond the Law. Today, our guest is Dr. Craig Carter, and we'll be talking about alternative health treatment plans. Dr. Carter is a doctor of chiropractic. Welcome to Beyond the Law, Dr. Carter.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
And just for full disclosure, Dr. Carter has been treating me since probably 1987. Mm-hmm. But we want to talk about some alternative treatments to health plans. As you know, we're in an aging society. Mm-hmm. Years ago, when I started seeing you back in the 1980s, it was very difficult to get health insurance plans to cover chiropractic treatment. Mm-hmm. So how has that changed at all? And if so, how has it changed?
Yeah, it has definitely evolved through the years since we first started working together. It's not really an issue anymore because most major health carriers cover chiropractic. The difference is they may have some limitations to how much and some of the procedures that are covered and not covered. But just about anybody who's seeking chiropractic and has health insurance, that is like no longer a barrier. Yeah.
So in your practice, you practice here in Atlanta, right, in the metropolitan Atlanta area? Yeah,
I'm in Chamblee, Georgia, kind of right down the street from Peachtree Street, and it's 5464 Peachtree Industrial Boulevard is our office, and been there in that particular location about 2 years now.
Oh, good. So you see a number of patients with no issues at all related to health insurance coverage?
No, the most likely set we see is certain things that they won't cover, or if certain people have certain conditions that maybe require a lot of attention, sometimes there's a little battle you have to do with the insurance companies to cover more of what they need, because they may cover a bare minimum. But a lot of times some people have some serious situations that chiropractic benefits, and they need a little bit more attention. So sometimes you have to go through more paperwork and things like that in order to get those kind of things covered.
Okay. Now, we're going to make this interview informative and informational interview. Okay. And so we're going to try to break down some old, long-standing, maybe misconceptions about chiropractic. Yeah. And one of those things is that it was basically a practice for a person who had a soft tissue type injury. Has that changed, or was it ever that notion of that was all the chiropractic science was?
A lot of people started associating it with soft tissue injuries because there was a lot of chiropractic and accident cases tied in together, and as a result, that became so much of the focus that it kind of got off on the benefits that chiropractic had in other areas of healthcare. But that particular part of the accident part, the soft tissue part, has remained. But people's awareness now of the other benefits are starting to expand now into other areas. Neck problems, headache, chronic headaches, and wellness type care, that has expanded. Chiropractic kind of started that way. That's what its focus was. That's how it made its niche in the healthcare industry. But then when the lucrative part of soft tissue injuries came in, and we were so good at dealing with those injuries where other professions weren't, and helping resolve a lot of those injuries, then kind of shifted a little bit towards that. But as health awareness has increased in society, it's expanded to more than just soft tissue injuries. But that's how a lot of people, that's been their first exposure to chiropractic, being in an accident and going to see a chiropractor.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what you were able to do that was so much more successful in dealing with soft tissue injury cases than other healthcare providers, and then we want to piggyback onto the type of things that chiropractic can do to enhance your overall health of an individual. Okay. Beyond the soft tissue.
Right. Well, with soft tissue, the big benefit that chiropractic has is whenever you get into an accident, obviously there's muscle and ligament. The fibers of those muscles and ligaments kind of tear. So you have to repair that. Some other professions did that too, but you also have to restore your joint motion position and reduce pressure, because those are all consequences of those trauma to the neck and to the back. Knocks the bones out of place, pinches down on nerves, all those things occur. But most other professions, they'll medicate you, put just some physical therapy on the soft tissue to kind of reduce the swelling, but not to fix the structure that was altered because of the accident, which can cause long-term consequences. And then the immediate pressure that occurs, because sometimes you may minimize the pain levels a little bit because you get the swelling down, but the injury's still there, the pressure's still there. So a lot of part of the injury, certain aspects of that injury are still there that have not been addressed. And that's what chiropractic does. Through the adjustments, it restores the motion, restores the position back to those joints, and that in effect reduces pressure off of the nerves.
Now, do you do that in conjunction with some type of prescription medication for the patient?
We don't. Chiropractors our scope of practice. We don't prescribe medicine. We may refer somebody get medical services if they need in that early part of phase of their treatment to get medications, but we don't. We do our treatment, physical therapies, associated physiotherapies to reduce swelling, reduce pain. We use those, and if it's just not enough to manage the pain at first, we will refer them for medical service for medication.
And that may be a pretty good segue into then making a comparison between orthopedic treatment for some soft tissue type injuries and chiropractic treatment with respect to physical therapy and so forth. So explain that to the audience.
Okay. A lot of times people, whenever you have a joint problem or sometimes a muscular problem, the first thing people think about, I got to go see an orthopedist. Well, the difference, I'd say there's a similarity between both of us, is we both deal with the bones and the joints and in the associated musculature. But that's kind of where the difference ends. Their treatment's a little bit more passive. They'll assess an injury, maybe prescribe medicine, which I'm not saying in some cases not necessary, and then look at how you respond to that, and they may send you to physical therapy. Or if they feel like they can't handle it or there's nothing else they can do, they may request, say, well, we think you may need surgery. So that's kind of their assessment of the injuries. We, on the other hand, we kind of take a whole different approach. We're more active in the treatment. So when you come to a chiropractor, we're going to assess your structure, what the problem is, and then start working on you on a regular basis to reduce the pressure, work with the associated muscle problems, whether it be physical therapy or stretching and things of that nature. So there's a lot more active treatment involved in chiropractic. We work on getting the bones back in place where it pinches down the nerve, and that's a big fancy word we use that's called a subluxation. A lot of things can create a subluxation. An accident is one way. Just things that happen to us in life can create these subluxations or areas of pressure, and that affects the muscles surrounding it, affects your spinal joints, and then wherever that nerve feeds into. So we reduce that pressure off the nerves, and we work with that patient on a regular basis. So we're a lot more actively involved in treatment of a patient, and when it comes to chiropractic and orthopedics. And we deal with a lot of conditions, and if we feel like it's kind of gone beyond what, whether it's an injury or a situation that we can do anything, we refer them to an orthopedist, because there are situational orthopedic services that are necessary in the neck, back, joints, and things like that.
Okay, well, we're going to stick a pin right there. We'll be right back. We got to pay a few bills.
Okay.
We'll be right back. We'll be on the law.
There is an unprecedented attack on our voting rights. More than 30 states have measures to eliminate early voting, restrict voter registration, bar formerly incarcerated people from voting, and adding photo ID requirements that will shut out an estimated 21 million Americans. Many sacrifice for our right to vote. We cannot allow it to be taken away. This is my vote. This is our vote. Visit NAACP.org to help overturn these laws and register millions of new voters.
Welcome back to Beyond the Law. Today, we're engaged in an informative discussion with chiropractor Craig Carter. Craig, we've had a good discussion, and one of the things I want to ask you about is what is about the overall holistic approach to chiropractic treatment. Would you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah, chiropractic is holistic in nature because essentially what we do is we're trying to balance off the body structure and then the nervous system. The nerves control and coordinate all systems of the body. So ultimately, if something's going wrong and something's creating pressure on a nerve, then what happens is it affects either that nerve, that muscle, or the organ or organ system where that nerve feeds into. So by putting the body back in balance and reducing that pressure, you help balance. And we always use the term homeostasis, which is just kind of putting everything back in balance, all the systems working evenly. And that's where we get into a lot of health concerns when things like that get off balance. And it creates chemical imbalances in our body, structural imbalance, pressure. And so it creates a lot of different situations in the body. So when, as a chiropractor, since sometimes it's not always just about the pain, it's about just making sure your body's working right. And so that's how we're holistic in nature, because we make sure your frame is good, so it cuts down on arthritis, the joints wearing out, it frees up those nerves, make sure the nerves are all firing, because they're like electrical wires firing out through the body, sending signals all over the place. So if that signal is getting interfered with, something's going to go wrong in your system. So by clearing that out too, you're helping the body, helping your whole health regime on a regular basis just by doing it. And that's kind of how it's holistic.
Okay, so I mean, in terms of, there are traditional ways to treat things like sinus postnasal drip or sinus problems. So is there a modality in chiropractic science for treating things like sinus headaches or sinus pressure?
Well, I'll tell you what, a lot of times in different areas of the spine controls different things. And you're talking about sinuses. So in the neck, there's a region when you take the pressure off there, those nerves go to the mucous membranes that control your sinuses. Mm-hmm. So if there's issues or it's related to that nerve supply, when you free up that particular nerve, the mucous membranes respond and they stop becoming so swollen and inflamed, and it helps with your sinuses. If it's a nerve at the top part of your neck that goes back up to your head or to your eyes, if there's pressure there and that nerve is firing improperly, it can create a headache. You've got glandular system in your neck that controls your immune system. If there's blockages or those nerves are firing to those glandular system, it's going to throw those off too, And then it can lead from anything to infections. Kids get ear infections because it doesn't drain or they're not getting proper supply into the ears. When they're little, they get ear infections. So just in the neck region yourself, those are a lot of ways you can help, especially like with sinuses. There's not really modalities. We may talk about dietary concerns and things like that associated with it, but primarily when we're talking about, sinuses, that would kind of be the ways to make sure that nervous system is balanced in your neck and cleared out. And it just kind of goes through the rest of the spine. You got your upper back, those nerves in the upper part of the back, and upper part of your back, they control the nerves that go to your heart. And so a lot of time we see a real positive effect with blood pressure when those nerves are pinched. It can cause the blood pressure to be elevated. So there's a lot of associated lowering of blood pressure when you free up the nerves in the upper part of the spine. And it just goes all the way down. Everything is controlled. Digestive tract in your lower part of your spine, kidneys, lower part of your colon, male, female reproductive organs. When there's pressure there, you're not getting the right signals, stuff's going to happen. It can cause, for instance, like in men, erectile dysfunction. We can see if the structure's off, ladies who are trying to have babies, the reproductive system's not working right, the ovaries and uterus, they're not working correctly, and the process that occurs doesn't occur like it normally should. So there's a lot of different things that happens when you free up those nerves. So each area of the spine has nerves that control and coordinate the function of everything. So if that control and coordination gets thrown off, even if you take medicine and you do other things, it may not be able to be fully corrected because your body's off balance and you're not getting the signals that makes those organs healthy. So,
Okay, and so in terms of age groups, are there different things that people should be aware of, in younger age groups and when you begin to get into the mid-60s like I am now?
Yeah. Really good question, because a lot of people don't know all the different age groups we are. A lot of people think, well, this person's too old to get treated, that one's too young. But let's start from the beginning. I mean, the first time a baby is born, when they're pulled out, their bones are little soft pieces of cartilage. And in the birthing process, the little bones get out of place in the neck, and that can cause baby problems, like I mentioned before, like ear infections. But now when your child starts walking and everything, you want to make sure their structure is good. So a lot of time, chiropractic make sure, again, the body is developing properly and straight and balanced, that they're not getting curvatures of the spine and everything. And then we start getting to kind of when the kids start really growing fast. And back in the old days, everybody called, he and she's just suffering with growing pains. People, kids like in the early teens start complaining about their knees hurting and their shoulder. And it's like, you're too young to have problems like that. But that's because the bones are growing long, fast, and the muscles got to catch up. And if something's out of position, out of structure, then it's going to create symptoms. So in the teenage years and all that, the adjustments keep the body in balance. Bedwetting is this thing that responds. There's pressure in the lower spine. It can cause a child or a kid to have bedwetting issues. And you can regulate that by making sure that there's no pressure in the lower back or lumbar spine. So you've got that happening at that age. Teens and sports, when they're playing sports, their bodies are more vulnerable because they're still in the developmental stages. So making sure that their structure is good, their joints, that's going to allow them to be pain-free and be more efficient in their sport, and then not have that sport affect them negatively when they get into their adult years. Because, you play sports in high school and everything, and if you've had negative effects on your body, it can catch up with you later. So it helps with that. And then you start getting to just everyday middle-aged people, just stress of life, the kind of work you do creates different situations. We're on computers a lot now. We develop a lot of neck and upper back problems and shoulder problems because our muscles get imbalanced. We're not working out. So just about everybody and every day can benefit from making sure that their structure is good. And then you get into seniors. And like some people say, well, it's too old to get a chiropractic adjustment because they're too forceful. They're going to break your bones. Well, one is that's not going to happen. It's very safe to get a chiropractic adjustment. There's different techniques we use in order to, if that is an issue where somebody has really thin bones, if they're gotten really older, you can do an adjustment that's going to cause a positive effect. It helps with arthritis. One of the best things you can do for arthritis is to get chiropractic treatment. Every senior should have it because everything by that time is even if there is arthritis, you can keep those joints moving good, keep them balanced, and that's going to minimize the pain that you have, even if you have it. We can't make the pain go away totally when you're at that stage, but we can definitely help you to manage it a lot better than just taking pain medication all the time where you can't function most of the time when you're living off pain medications like that.
Okay, one final question. So then would you agree that everyone probably should add, in addition to the medical treatment that they have for their health plan, they should also add some type of chiropractic treatment too?
Oh, most definitely. It's really a missed opportunity when people don't get assessed by a chiropractor and get some type of chiropractic treatment on some level. Everybody, and that's another misconception, I'll just bring that, everybody thinks that you have to go to a chiropractor every week for 3 times a week. There's all kind of different situations, and that's not really necessary. But like I'm saying, if somebody gets assessed to see what their issue is and how they can benefit from chiropractic, it could be a monthly thing, it could be a quarterly thing, it could be weekly, it just depends. But everybody on some level can benefit. To manage your stress, the help if you have a pain that you're taking something for and you're just kind of living with or dealing with, or just to help your body function better. These are all things that everybody can benefit from at every age group. That's why everybody should, from your kids to your grandmother, should be assessed by a chiropractor or grandpa to let them, be assessed and get some type of treatment on some level.
Well, there you have it. Everybody from kids to your grandma should should augment your healthcare plan with some chiropractic treatment. Dr. Carter, thank you for being with us on Beyond the Law.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
We're glad to have you. Take care.
Take care.